pursuant to agreement of the parties, we will hear the Hightower Amendment. Once it is read by Mr. Hightower, is that how we're going to do it? Once it's read by Mr. Hightower, you then have 1 minute to describe it. Once you've described it, I will ascertain whether there are 15 supporters. If there are 15 supporters, we will go immediately to a discussion. Pursuant to that discussion, you will be granted, I assume you're going to take it 5 minutes, yes, to be followed by 5 minutes of discussion by an opponent. And then I'm going to call a vote. This is all pursuant to agreement. We're going to do this as agreed. I now recognize Mr. Hightower for the purposes of making an amendment.
Thank you,
1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It is the essence of this amendment is that it is the policy of the Democratic Party that the Trans-Pacific Partnership must not get a vote in this Congress or in future sessions of Congress. This proposal is very important to grassroots Americans and to the future success of our party. That's because TPP is not just another trade proposal. It's a little shop of corporate horrors that unleashes global wage busters, big pharma, the world's banksters, internet monopolists, and a horde of other profiteering predators to rip us off and literally subvert our people's democratic sovereignty. Woody Guthrie once said that through this world I travel, I see lots of funny men. Some will rob you with a six-gun and some with a fountain pen. It's the fountain pens who are doing the serious stealing in our society today. It's not enough to think we can contain this global private government of greed with soft words and regulation. Rather, we must kill it before it kills our democracy.
Thank you. Pursuant to agreement, I will now ask if there are 15 supporters. There are 15 supporters. We will now have 5 minutes by the proponents of this amendment to speak to it, followed by 5 minutes of the opponents of this amendment. Please begin the clock.
I appreciate the unity that we're feeling here, that we're experiencing. This is going to carry us great distance into the next couple of months, and I urge us, however, to join in the boldest, most absolute action that we can take against TPP. Not just condemn it, but to act against it. There's an old cowboy saying out in West Texas, speak the truth, but ride a fast horse. Now the truth is that the TPP section of our party platform as it now stands is not just inadequately soft, it's disastrously inadequate statement of our party's political real will. It's crucial that we fix this for two reasons. One, on principle. Millions of our core voters are on fire about the TPP power grab, naturally assuming that the leaders of the People's Party would also be on fire about it. But using lame language tells them that we will not stand with them on this fight against the greed itself, against the people who wrote this thing, the corporate powers. But the second reason is politics. Donald Trump is telling working class Americans all across this country that he will flat out kill TPP, no equivocation in it, particularly effective in the Midwestern swing states there that we're counting on. And by the way, we've now learned that the GOP platform will specifically say no lame duck vote on TPP. The Republicans are going to be a flat-out statement. He is going to hammer Hillary mercilessly on the wimpy language in her platform. It's humiliating and suicidal for our stand to be weaker than the Republicans. So I offer this straightforward amendment as a form of political Viagra.
I'm just going to, 3 minutes.
To stiffen the spine of our party so ordinary Americans can know without doubt that we Democrats are on their side. Lyndon Johnson used to say you can't make chicken salad with chicken manure. He was a little more graphic than manure, but nonetheless, this TPP document is 2,000 pages of pure, unadulterated manure. First, it's not even a trade deal. It's a corporate empowerment deal. It has 30 chapters in these 2,000 pages. Only 6 deal with trade. The rest of them enthrone a corporate oligarchy to run roughshod over the people of this country and around the world. It even adds new incentives for profiteering CEOs to offshore more of our middle-class jobs, more of them. as Lily Tomlin says, no matter how cynical you get, it's almost impossible to keep up. This is... Chairman
2
Cummings
minutes.
yesterday...
You got a lot of people behind you. You got 2 minutes.
Chairman Cummings yesterday said we should keep our eyes on our children in writing a platform. Well, he's right about that. And on their children, too. And on their grandchildren and their grandchildren. The reason is TPP is forever. Most people don't know that. Future president can't get out of it. Future Congress can't. The Supreme Court cannot. You can just put a forever stamp on this thing if it is signed. And the reason that it's a corporate wet dream is because the corporations wrote it. 500 corporate executives and lobbyists sat around the table, including the Koch brothers and Coca-Cola and Walmart, et cetera. But we weren't at the table. Labor wasn't, environmentalists weren't, consumers weren't. There's no saying, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And that is why it's absurd that our platform would have said that Democrats are 50-50 divided on TPP. That's not even close to true. 85% of the House Democratic caucus is on record against the TPP. Vast majority of grassroots Democrats are. And if that's not enough, these are boxes containing 10,000 to 15,000 petitions signed by the American people in the last week and a half for this amendment. More than 700,000 of them have been signed.
Thank you very much. If we could clear the, when you're done, please clear so that we can have the opponents use their agreed to 5 minutes so that we'll then go to a vote on
What have I got now?
You're
Done. Okay.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Now, with the opponents of the Hightower Amendment, which actually does appear before you, I believe, on the screen because it was Mr. Hightower's original amendment, in essence, offered. Okay? People understand where we are? Okay. 5 minutes in opposition.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. My name is Sam Farino. I am from the great state of New Jersey. I rise. We just supported the Sanders Amendment, which protects families and corporate... Saunders, sorry.
I made that mistake.
Yeah,
Saunders.
it's easy. Saunders, Sanders. It's very close. It lays out principles that will allow now the trade deals, including the TPP, long into the future. This is about principles, not process. I urge you not to support the Hightower Amendment. It is something that the Labor has come together, and we supported our amendment, and I believe this is the right thing for working families and working peoples of the United States. Thank you.
Next speaker. Excuse me. Excuse me. Please, next speaker.
Mr. Chairman, Gary Blackburn from Tennessee.
Yeah, you need to get closer to it.
Okay.
I've never met a shy person from Tennessee, so you better get close.
Home of Andrew Jackson.
There you go. Go ahead.
Who was a free trade guy, by the way. Mr. Chairman, I think most of us in this room share the zeal that has been expressed here. Sometimes, however, a zealous approach can lead us to certain unintended consequences. This amendment states that there should never be in any future session of the Congress a vote on TPP. That is basically, I don't know about you all, but we elect our congressmen in Tennessee, and we expect them to stand up and represent us, including on issues such as this. This is the approach that the Republicans are taking on gun control. If you want to, to my friends in the peanut gallery, I want to remind you of something.
Listen, let's have some decorum here. If you're going to do that, we're going to end up adding time, and I'd like to get to a vote one way or the other. So complete your comments. You have 3 minutes left.
I want to remind you of one thing. First of all, we have no authority whatsoever to tell the Congress that it can't vote on legislation. That is undemocratic, absurd, and unconstitutional. Secondly, if they can't debate the TPP, how can they make positive changes to it?
Thank you. All right, next speaker. Next speaker. Thank you. Next speaker.
Mr. Chairman, Fran Turner, New York State. I rise in opposition to this amendment and go back to the Saunders amendment that we just supported, that has the highest standards for workers, the highest standards to protect our environment, that will apply not only now but in the future to all trade agreements, including TPP. Thank you.
Additional speakers? Any additional speakers? Then we're going to go to immediate, pursuant to agreement where debate was limited, we're going to go to a vote. Please put up the issue.
Is there still additional time?
No, there's not. No, there is not. No, each side had, pursuant to agreement.
Okay.
Each side had 5 minutes. It's been used. We're going to go to a vote, pursuant to agreement. Please don't vote until it's up on the screen. This is a yes vote would be in favor of the Hightower Amendment. A no vote would be against the Hightower Amendment.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
The amendment fails. Courtney, please read the next amendment.